Next up, we have Lydia Hoffstaetter. She's a 6th year in the neuroscience department. And her presentation title is, What Hibernators Can Teach Us About Keeping It Cool.
Don't you sometimes wish that you could just curl up and close your eyes and wake up when all your deadlines and exams are over? That's exactly how the 13-line ground squirrel deals with the winter. If you hibernate like a squirrel, you curl up underground, drop your body temperature, and remain unmoving for weeks at a time. This saves a lot of energy. It sounds nice, but here's some problems with hibernation you probably haven't thought about before. You can't move, so how do you prevent your muscles from withering away? You can hardly breathe, so how do you deal with low oxygen in your body? These are some of the many interesting reasons why scientists study hibernation. I'm going to tell you about one very specific question. What does it feel like to hibernate? The body temperature of the squirrel drops to almost freezing. That's like a 6-month-long ice bucket challenge. Does the squirrel feel painfully cold the entire time it's hibernating, or is it able to turn off its pain sensation? Since we can't exactly ask the squirrel what it's feeling, we look at what the cells and molecules in the squirrel are doing. The cells I'm interested in are called neurons, and they send messages to the brain. We can learn a lot about what neurons are sensing by looking at specific molecules called ion channels. You can think of the neuron as a bathtub with some water in it. The ion channels are like faucets that let water into the bathtub. If the bathtub overflows, a message is sent to the brain. The only difference is, in a real neuron, the flow is not water, but electricity. So if you touch a very cold surface, ion channels open, the electrical charge overflows, and a message of cold pain is sent to your brain. In my experiments, I looked at the neurons of hibernating squirrels, and I found that their properties are very similar to neurons of non-hibernating squirrels. This means the bathtub has about the same amount of water in it. But I also discovered that some of the faucets are harder to open, and some of the faucets let less water through. This way, it's harder to fill up the bathtub, and fewer pain messages are sent to the brain in a hibernating squirrel. These changes in the molecular machinery of neurons help squirrels tolerate painful conditions during hibernation. This is cool, but why do we even care what a hibernating animal feels like? Humans can't hibernate, or can they? Doctors are very interested in hibernation research. Doctors use therapeutic hypothermia to cool down the body of a patient by a few degrees to protect them from brain damage. Understanding the details of hibernation will help doctors cool down patients more efficiently. Also, NASA is very interested in hibernation research. Traveling to our closest neighboring planet, Mars, would take at least 6 months. Sounds very boring, but also you would have to take a lot of food and water to sustain a human life on this long journey. What if we could instead put the space traveler into a kind of human hibernation? We still have a lot to learn before we can do this, but imagine the many possibilities ahead when what we learned from a small mammal curled up underground might one day send us to space. Thank you.